7 years, 7 different champions. This is the reality of the NBA, and it's the first time in league history that this has happened. This is the Parity era. This is uncharted territory for the league, but to be frank, it might not last long, because there might be a new dynasty around the corner, and it's the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, the Oklahoma City Thunder are the best example of how to run a franchise, and after nearly 18 years since Sam Presti was hired as general manager, he's closer to a championship than he's ever been. They're the clear-cut best team standing, but this video isn't about them. This video is about how we got here. What led the league to this moment? Why is there no team that stands head and shoulders above the rest? And most importantly, is that a good thing? Now, in my opinion, this is definitely a good thing, because I love not knowing the inevitable finals matchup every season. Dynasties kind of ruin that aspect of the sport for me, but I don't know how other people feel about the current state of the NBA. So because of that, let's do a deep dive. Now, a simple way to do this is by comparing the TV ratings for the NBA Finals over the years. And today, I'll be comparing the Parity era versus the Dynasty era. So how exactly will I do this? Well, first, I need a time frame. And luckily for me, I already have one. Anyway, the Dynasty era spans from 2000 to 2018, and the Parity era spans from 2019 to 2024. Okay, now how do I identify what a dynasty actually is within this 19-year period? It's actually pretty simple. I'll be using my own definition of a dynasty. Any team that has won multiple championships within a 3-year span, and if they win more titles after that, I'll extend the window accordingly. Now, let's go through them. The first dynasty was the early 2000s Los Angeles Lakers, spanning from 2000 to 2002. In just 3 years, they pulled off the near impossible, a three-peat, led by the iconic duo of Kobe and Shaq. During that dominant run, they averaged 17.36 million viewers. The second dynasty was the San Antonio Spurs, spanning from 2003 to 2007. Over those 5 years, they secured 3 championships, led by the big fundamental himself, Tim Duncan. But despite their success, the finals ratings dipped during this time, averaging just 10.56 million viewers across their run. The third dynasty was once again the Los Angeles Lakers, who went back-to-back in 2009 and 2010, winning 2 titles within a 3-year window. During this run, finals viewership climbed back toward the heights of their early 2000s dominance, slightly lower but still strong, with an average of 16.25 million viewers. The fourth dynasty was the Miami Heat, who went back-to-back in 2012 and 2013. They were led by the Big Three, LeBron, D-Wade, and Chris Bosh, and they ran the league during a tight 4-year window. Finals ratings plateaued during this time, but still held strong, averaging 17.18 million viewers. The fifth and final dynasty was the Golden State Warriors, who dominated from 2015 to 2018. They won 3 out of 4 possible championships and were led by the revolutionary play of Stephen Curry. And once Kevin Durant joined, the league became their playground. During this stretch, finals viewership soared, averaging 19.3 million viewers, the most of any dynasty throughout this period. Now, as you can see, these ratings are pretty high, and when I calculate the average number of viewers over the course of the NBA Finals during the Dynasty era, it ends up being 16.13 million. I mean, that's pretty good, but I need something to compare it to, and that's where the Parity era comes in. And luckily enough, getting the numbers for this era won't be as convoluted as the Dynasty era, since the time frame is shorter and more clear-cut. So with that in mind, let's begin. Now, the first finals matchup of the Parity era featured the Raptors and the Warriors, and the average number of viewers for this series was 15.14 million. That's around the kind of numbers you'd expect from the Dynasty era, so that's a solid start. Anyway, let's move on to the 2020 finals. This was the bubble. It was the Miami Heat versus the Los Angeles Lakers, and the average number of viewers for this series was 7.45 million? Am I reading this right? That's the lowest rated NBA finals of all time since they started tracking it. Bro, that's insane. I mean, yeah, there was COVID, nationwide protests, no fans, and it was an open gym. I mean, I get it. But a drop-off like that is absurd. Like, damn. Anyway, let's transition away from that and discuss the 2021 finals. This featured the Milwaukee Bucks and the Phoenix Suns, and this final still had a steep drop-off from the norm, TV ratings-wise, but it was still higher than 2020, with the average number of viewers being 9.91 million. Now, let's move on to the 2022 finals. Stephen Curry is back, the Boston Celtics are here, and the ratings are higher. With familiar faces back in the mix, the numbers started trending upward, and the average number of viewers was 12.4 million. It was back to the norm, but not as high as it could be. As time passed, the 2023 finals came, and it was a matchup between the Denver Nuggets and the heavy underdog, the Miami Heat. The series was quick, but the ratings were decent. The average number of viewers was 11.64 million. Now, the last finals of the Parity era that I'll be covering is the 2024 matchup between the Dallas Mavericks and the Boston Celtics. It was a quick series yet again, but the ratings didn't dip too much, with the average number of viewers being 11.31 million. Okay, now that I've revealed all the numbers for the Parity era, I know all of you are begging to know the total average, right? Nobody? Damn. Oh, okay. Anyway, the average number of viewers for the Parity era is 11.31 million. Now, this number is a steep drop off compared to the Dynasty era, and when you see that steep drop off, you're left thinking, what happened? But in reality, when you think deeper, you know the exact reason why. Like, let me ask you a question. In the Dynasty era, what do the 5 dynasties all have in common? And the answer to that question is, they all have a face. A recognizable face that you as a viewer are familiar with, that you naturally gravitate toward. It's the NBA selling point, and it pulls you in. But what happens when you're not familiar with the players? What happens when you're not drawn to the selling point? You don't click on it. You're not intrigued. And even during the Dynasty era, there was a low point. It was when the Spurs were playing. And what's the notion around the face of the San Antonio Spurs? That's right. He's boring. The NBA is an entertainment-driven business. And if you're not even entertained at the thought of the finals, why would you turn it on? These are the thoughts a casual fan would have. And most of the NBA fandom is made up of casual fans. And this is the exact reason why the TV ratings show such a steep decline between these two eras. Now, how did the NBA even get to this state? What happened? Or you could say, what changed? And honestly, it's a combination of things. Injuries, player movement, spread out talent, the new CBA, it's all of that. Each of those changes, whether intentional or unexpected, did one thing. They stopped champions from staying champions. In 2019, KD got injured twice, once in the second round and then again in the finals. In 2020, Kawhi was playing for the Los Angeles Clippers, not the Toronto Raptors, the team that had just won it all in 2019. In 2021, AD got injured during the first round. In 2022, Chris Middleton also got injured during the first round. In 2023, the Warriors just got beat. They weren't good enough. That loss wasn't about injuries or the CBA. It was the league catching up. In 2024, the Nuggets couldn't re-sign Bruce Brown because of the new CBA. And in 2025, the Celtics were injured. Jason Tatum tore his Achilles, and the whole roster looked worn down. Every single season, it was something different. And honestly, it just feels like we're living in a transition period, where greatness keeps showing up, but never twice in a row. Maybe the next champion breaks the curse, or maybe not. Who knows? We just have to wait and see. But for now, we are living in the parity era.